Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is amazing. It recently finished the first season and it's already been confirmed for season 2 and 3, but it's in the top 3 best Spider-Man shows just below 90s Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh, it's basically what people want to see from MCU Spider-Man and it does it perfectly. From a diverse and unique cast of characters that all have their own personalities and journeys and have a more street-level focus. There's just so much to it that makes it what it is. First off, with the characters besides Peter, Nico, Harry, and Norman are all great and add to the story in their own way, but the best is Lonnie Lincoln. At first, you think he's going to be the bully since he's captain of the football team, but he's actually nice and a good person and becomes friends with Peter. He always helps the people he cares about even when he gets screwed over, all the while he gets racially profiled while just walking home, and he has to be the man of the house, but his turn into Tombstone is tragic. All because he has to save his brother and take his place in the 110th gang. He tries to fight it at first, but eventually becomes the leader by the end. And I see him as the opposite to Peter, who had great power and it came with great responsibility, but for Lonnie, he had great responsibility that came with great power. But moving on, Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn works really well, and he's a good mentor to Peter, but also scheming in his own ways. As he says, with great power comes great respect. But the story itself is good, especially with Norman training Peter while just using him. But at the start, Doctor Strange shows up fighting a symbiote, and by the end it turns out to be a giant time loop as Norman opens a portal that lets his symbiote, with Doctor Strange showing up to fight it, and that leads to Peter helping him. But Doctor Strange goes back in time along with the same spider that bit Peter in the first episode. But the other villains were great, especially with the setup of Doc Ock, but my favorite was Scorpion, as it's Matt Gargan Scorpion. It's crazy because he kills people, and I thought this was a kid's show, but he's also just a good villain, as he beats Peter's ass so bad that he gets nightmares. But I like the focus of the more street level side with Peter fighting Daredevil. The animation though took some getting used to, but it feels unique. But the weakest part for me was definitely the love interest and romance part, because Peter has a huge crush on this girl named Pearl who's in a relationship with Lonnie, but that doesn't really work out since he's in a gang, and she doesn't really have much to her character besides that. But there was so much set up for season 2, like Venom, Peter's dad being in prison, Lonnie truly becoming Tombstone, Harry starting the Web Foundation, Nico knowing magic and most likely eventually becoming Sister Grimm, as in the comics she's a part of the Runaways, but also Daredevil and his protege, and just so much more.